Assalamu alaikum, my friends. Welcome to the Muslim Nerd Talks. This is a special YM reunion here. We have right here. We are some of the OGs that are here in Chicago, right? So we have brother Kaiser over here, all the way from New Jersey, and we have the brother Mr. AJ
Abu Jibril.
Abu Jibril. Assalamu alaikum, guys. How are you guys doing today?
Alhamdulillah. Praise the Lord.
Alaikum salam rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah. Doing well. Good to be on.
Yes.
Good to have you back, Kaiser. I actually just caught up with Fazil. We haven't met physically in years. And also you, who we're still talking about YM camp stories, actually. Summer retreats that we've had.
Good memories.
Yes.
Lots of sleepless nights.
Yeah, indeed, definitely.
So talking about, if you guys are watching this anywhere, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, we are on the Muslim Nerd Talks. TMNT. I'm here with a very, very enthusiastic nerd, geek, who literally wears it on his sleeves. Let's get closer. Let's get closer.
Let's see this. How many days? How many days? 5 days left. Remember.
Okay.
5 days.
For those of you guys who know, literally, Fazil has dedicated his online existence to DC.
Indeed.
And although in this office, by the way, if you guys have seen, artwork has been moving well. These clocks are about to move some more too. I guess I would say I'm a big Marvel guy. I personally do not read comics as much, but I do watch a lot of Watch Mojo videos, and I have, I now consume them now after the fact that Marvel, the movies have come out. So what about you, Kaiser? What would you say your geekiness is?
So, I consume a lot of the more popular. Again, you could call me a casual, where I consume the movies as they come out. Occasionally, I'll read a comic book or two, but I'm more interested in the philosophy of comics in general and what they represent in the greater ethos of kind of the society that we live in, and how they take up literally the tropes that oftentimes mythology, or in our tradition, even spiritual figures used to represent. That comic books actually take that on, and kind of the idea of superheroes or the societies that they inhibit are actually mechanisms of processing like the human condition in a very cool format.
Okay, so we have Fazil with us, but I actually want to talk about. So today, a couple things we're going to talk about. First of all, Marvel's first series on Disney Plus just finished, WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I was actually just reading from like an analyst perspective. I have a little bit of a background in business management, and so does I just found out Fazil too. Disney thought that they would reach 100 million as a user base for Disney Plus by 2024. Right off the bat, Disney. What's the company that owns Disney, Kaiser?
What is that again?
What's the how like Google is owned by Alphabet?
Yeah.
No, not a lot of people know that, but like it's the fact that Amazon tries to go A to Z. But Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and Disney as a conglomerate. Who owns Disney? They own ABC News and everything else too, right?
I think Disney is that big conglomerate that you're talking about.
Yeah, they are the conglomerate.
Yeah, they own like all the ABC, ESPN. What else?
So Netflix. It took Netflix 5 to 10 years to reach 100 million, and now they're at 200 million. So Netflix is at 200 or 300, and Disney right off the bat starting off is already,
the IPs alone that they own are pretty ridiculous.
It's crazy how they came up, because like I know like right around like what that 90s they got ABC, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got ABC. They ran like the TGIF and all that stuff. Like I know that, but by the time because I know they acquired Marvel in 2009.
Yeah.
Because Iron Man and Hulk. The first Marvel films actually were just a low budget standalone, So that's why it's kind of like difference in tone. But then when they acquired them in 2009, because if you go back, there was no MCU film in 2009. Mm-hmm. Iron Man 2 came out in 2010, and I guess from then on it's all been like an MCU Disney type.
So I actually watched Iron Man with my elder son Yusuf, and he's like, "They're in Pakistan."
You'll see the tone shift pretty significantly. Then you get the world building that goes on, and it accumulates into the first Avengers. And it took a distinctively different turn with the humor that's incorporated, the family friendly jokes, and it didn't seem like the whole like, oh, we're just setting up individual story arcs. It was always always a big picture at every single step. And then also the inclusion of China, the inclusion of all of those typical business decisions.
The war on terror, right? And Iron Man. I mean, we're talking about Marvel here, so we'll start with the beginning. The war, like literally in the original Iron Man, it was Vietnam, wasn't it? That's when we were at war. Like Muhammad Ali got his license, his championship belt refused because he wouldn't want to go. Right. And like, we literally left Vietnam, similar to the same thing as of Afghanistan. The soldiers pretty much shot anything that moved. Or like nobody in the U.S. military really even understood what was going on. And it was, I think, I just saw recently Kong, Skull Island.
Yeah.
And in it, they were like, the people in Vietnam did not even know they were the enemy until the enemy attacked. They never even saw guns until the U.S. came. And now they have guns because now it was very interesting with guerrilla tactics and literally Kong.
I think a bit of a simplistic view here, but no, I think you're definitely right with the idea of an adoption of this overthrow regime.
Yeah.
That was adopted, and it was this proxy war where you're not actually fighting the enemy, you're fighting a potential enemy. And these smaller nations just came in and became these, lack of a better word, meat shields for ideologies, these major ideologies that we're actually fighting.
It's funny. Good.
Oh no! I mean, because like I recently watched it just to prepare myself for Godzilla vs Kong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really something because like with Kong Skull Island, I really didn't think. I thought it was just gonna be like your classic, like okay, these guys come and Kong is just gonna destroy everyone. But like how they did it, like he's on an island secluded, the last of his kind, right? And he's basically a protector of all those creatures there. You know what I'm saying? Like they have this like big thing, and then now like with Godzilla and Kong coming out, like it's gonna be like a clash of the titans. It's like a Batman versus Superman in that sense.
Yeah.
Kong being Batman. Godzilla being Superman. Let's go there.
So Fazil, you're not gonna like hearing this, but I'm actually looking forward to Kong versus Godzilla more than the Snyder cut.
Okay. Oh, I'm the same way. I actually my wife actually got HBO Max
after the
so from Yusuf literally got HBO Max because of Tom and Jerry. I'm like, really? That movie's not worth $15 a month.
I got a fun story about
literally Kong versus Godzilla. Godzilla versus Kong is the movie that I'm hyped for. Like literally, of everything.
Okay. Are we all Team Kong here?
No.
What?
Dude, the G-Man, dude.
What?
We all.
He's the underdog.
He's the underdog, no doubt. Yeah.
But everyone knows how it's going to quote unquote end, right? So I don't want to get into that territory. But it is going to be this strange kind of. They're not actually going to be versing each other the whole movie. The same thing like Batman.
Oh, we know that.
The theories did come out like. There was kind of a little spoilery, but we won't say that right now.
The underpinnings of the two felt like things that they represent without getting. I feel like I always come on
East
as
and the West, yeah,
but not necessarily East and the West. It's more of like ancient civilizations versus this like quote unquote. We rule the world. We can control things or type of space. So like I don't know. Would you really, in that case, want to go for human hubris rather than the idea that we're being controlled by other powers?
I feel like in the previous movie there was no undefined. Like the 1960 whatever movie was the biggest Hollywood hit at that time, right? Where there's people in rubber suits.
I never watched that one.
I never watched that one either.
I tried putting it on for the family. My wife is just like, "What are we watching?" Like,
because I watched like the Solo 2005, directed by who directed Lord of the Rings?
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson one. That was actually not bad for a story, just a King Kong story.
Yeah.
Hence King Kong. I'm just letting that go out there. Godzilla, King of the Monsters, but you know what's gonna happen.
Let's see. Godzilla has had 3 movies. This is his end of his trilogy. He's got his original one.
Yeah.
Him versus the
King of the Monsters, basically versus
all the other
dragons. Yeah.
Ghidorah.
Yeah.
And this is his 3rd movie. Kong has just his origin movie, right? But again, it's not a trilogy. I think they're claiming that they're. Again, let's stay on topic. We can talk about. I guess this is a podcast. We can talk about anything. But I know you got somewhere to go, Kaiser. But do you want to talk about the Trinity, the DC and Marvel Trinity or just Marvel for now?
I mean, I think they're both very closely linked. Everyone's probably familiar with this already, but one of the reasons I think comic books are so interesting is they go over the kind of the hero struggle, and they divide it up into three major styles of heroes. And it's not something that's unique to almost any one brand of literature. This will be almost everywhere. I would even go as far as like the Quranic idea of what a prophet goes through is the same exact thing as what DC and Marvel kind of has. So if we start off with some people, what most people are more familiar with, because of the prominence of the MCU, you have the MCU Trinity, which is Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. And when you look at what happens in each of those stories, it's quite interesting. Where let's start with Captain America because he's the easiest. He's the unchanging man. The idea that society is going to become super corrupted, but Captain America is always going to be this symbol of virtue that they need to come back to so that the whole world can be saved. This is the oldest idea of prophethood. Like humanity went astray, go back to the old ideas. This will be like the typical Noah figure, the typical Jesus figure.
Right.
Society changed. We need to fix it. That's the Superman figure type thing. So that's on the DC side will be Superman. There's the second one, which is the Iron Man figure, which is the idea that a single person has gotten ahead of society because the society is corrupted to its core. This will be Iron Man realizes war profiteering is destroying the world.
Yes.
This will be Abraham recognizing idolatry. The system is so entrenched that he needs to figure out how to take his whole society out. So he's ahead of the rest of the world, and the world needs to constantly catch up to him. This will be the Abraham story. This will be the Muhammad story. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This will be the Batman story. And then the last one is the redemptive arc. And that's the idea of Wonder Woman and Thor. If you look at every Wonder Woman movie or every Thor movie, it's this exact same thing. What happens? They're powerful. They lose their powers. They learn something, and then they regain their powers.
Yes.
So classic redemptive arc.
Sorry to cut you off there, but did you watch Wonder Woman 84?
I did.
What did you think of it overall?
It's a retelling of the very age-old quote unquote like monkey's paw, and they even reference that book, like be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
I'll send you a link regardless.
Yeah. Of the three, I find that to be the least compelling in terms of in common day, and I think it's also kind of interesting. There's a whole like woke messaging all the way throughout, which gets jam packed into a movie. A subtle hand is way better than like the direct hand that they were going for.
Yeah.
So I appreciated it, but
because the world building in let's go to the DCU because we're like Zack Snyder's Justice League really the stuff that happened because he actually since the making of Man of Steel he actually had a set plan. So like this past couple of weeks, Snyder he actually released like stuff on Twitter saying these were my storyboards for Justice League when I had the story back then, and he released them and they're out in a museum out in I believe in Houston. There's like the AT&T out in Houston. There was like there's a museum there, and so he was going there, and he was talking about how like his version of Wonder Woman. I don't know if you watched Dawn of Justice, yes? Yeah. So you know that photo, like that comes up with like, so he actually had a stand-in photo where actually Wonder Woman was gonna be more of like a warrior trying to fit in, like trying to create peace during the Crimean War. I don't know if you guys know about that, the Crimean War.
Yeah.
So it was a crazy photo. Like it's a very awesome photo for like comic fans because she just had she was standing with a bunch of people like in like a Wonder Woman, like she was standing with their team, but then she had like heads. Like she had like heads.
Oh, wow. Okay, so a lot darker.
Yeah, it was a lot darker. She had like heads that she collected. So you had like, and it was very diverse too because you had like a Sikh, you had like a samurai on the team, you had like a general, whatever. So she would go around all that French War and stuff like that. And then what I'm saying is like, with how Wonder Woman kind of, I guess they really went full 80s, in terms of like, the cheesiness and like like hey, it's coming like. Kind of be hopeful, but I think like with the warrior and story building like that, I think like Wonder Woman's very good as in a little dark.
that type of like I'm all a fan of like the artistic like 80s thing. I actually appreciated that part of the movie, how like even it looked like a commercial in the beginning, and as it went on, it took on more qualities of a 2020 movie. So I appreciated that direction. I think my bigger problem is because of corporate greed, they went for that mashup movie way too early.
Yes.
When you walk into a Marvel movie in which things are put together, even when you look at something like the Amazing Spider-Man, or no, not the Amazing Spider-Man, sorry, Spider-Man: Homecoming, when you saw Tony Stark scenes versus Peter Parker scenes, you could sense like, oh, we're so familiar with the Iron Man arc that he's going to go through this in this movie, and he does go through it.
Yeah,
that mentor figure. When you go through Spider-Man, you already go through this. We got so trained with it that we were like okay with watching it happen over and over again. With DC, it shoehorned them into their end positions and then had to backtrack. That just doesn't work because there doesn't seem to be as much of a cohesive picture there.
I mean, I was gonna mention that obviously everybody felt that with the movie, like Justice League was rushed. I mean, how many movies led up to the Avengers and that? I mean, it was catch up. Everyone kind of knew that. But I actually wanted to talk about, like, very, very simply, Kaiser, Superman, there's no doubt about it. In the DC Trinity, Superman is God, Batman is mortal, and Wonder Woman is demigod or half god, right?
So no, I think it's a little bit deeper than that. I think I don't think it's the Trinity in the way we call like the typical Christian Trinity. I don't think anyone represents really that quote unquote Godhead type of figure. Though there'll be those that are like, this has been debated to death, like is Superman the Jesus figure, the Moses figure? Like that's taken place. But I think it's more of the arc that they have to go on. Superman, quote unquote, has to find who he actually is. There's even the idea of a protagonist. There's a protagonist that has to change society, and there's a protagonist that has to change themselves. Superman tends to be the one who has to change himself, and the society has to catch up.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, see, that was the thing. Like going back to your point, you're saying like how like DC had to go back to the film. It was actually internal controversy within Warner Brothers actually, because they did not allow, the reason why Zack Snyder's Justice League is finally because like 2017, like you said, it was rushed. It was complete. It wasn't the movie.
2018, 19, 2021, 4 years later.
4 years we're getting the direct sequel after Dawn of Justice, because that was Zack's vision. Because he had the thing about him was he had a 5-story arc for Superman. So you had Man of Steel, right? You're introduced to him. And then Dawn of Justice,
by far my favorite still of the DC.
Oh my goodness, the beautiful gore, everything is so good in that movie. Yes. So you had that. He wants to introduce like alien origin. It's a perfect alien origin film for Superman, right? You have it there. Dawn of Justice was more because Batman was the bad guy in that film. People don't get this. Like Batman was the bad guy in that film. Mm-hmm. So because Superman, even though he wasn't in that much, but Batman was the villain because he's going at somebody that's like, he's misunderstanding what he did, right? Because it's reminding him like, okay, I got to keep the world in check. But the Dawn of Justice was like Superman, like his internal struggle is like, okay, I did this. What am I to society? But at the same time, if spoiler alert, if you didn't see this movie, I'm sure you did. But
what are you watching this for?
Huh? Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean, if you're a nerd, you've probably seen it. But I also go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So like his sacrifice at the end, right? It's like, oh my gosh, like he still sacrificed after all the controversy he went throughout the film. And then Zack Snyder's Justice League would have continued like Superman, like would be like because Snyder is a very like. He brings in religion to his films a lot, Mm-hmm. So he had this because he sees like Superman is like he's gonna be like this Jesus figure, you know what I'm saying? And bringing like he's like a Jesus figure, right? So Superman would have been Justice League would have been the rebirth of Superman. Then the part 2 would be like he's back, and then part 3 he finally comes back to getting that first suit that we saw in Man of Steel, right? It's basically an arc that he leads up to being the Superman that we know and love, but. Warner Brothers had other plans. They got greedy with money, and they're like, you know what? No, fire him. And so it's all this controversy. So that's
that's the nature of the world we live in.
Yeah.
But guys, before I was going to say, like, the interpretation of Superman, God, Batman, the mortal, Wonder Woman, like the half god. On the Marvel side, it's like, okay, like Iron Man, the human, okay, mm-hmm. Thor, like the god, right, mm-hmm. And Captain America with the super serum, right? He's half he's enhanced human, so he's like the half. So I mean, again, the concept I was going to go with the Trinity with this is like, for example, the reason I was just going to draw this real quick is literally a kid explained this to me. It's like, okay, I don't know if you guys can see this, right?
Yeah.
The Father is God. Okay. The Son is God. Okay. This is the classic Trinity, right? And the Holy Spirit is God. So this is the classic Trinity.
Right.
But now, it's very interesting. I just was speaking to somebody on the phone, but then they say the Father is not the Son. So is not the Son. Literally, is not the Son. So the Father is not the Holy Spirit, which we as Muslims were like, Holy Spirit. This is Angel Gabriel. Like, none of this. Okay. The Son is not is not. The Son is not the Holy Spirit. So like these negations here, that is and is not, literally kind of like, make this, like, why it's just so simple. There's one God. And I wanted to say that the concept of the Trinity, strange. And like, again, just even with the Marvel, when it comes to the personalities, like Iron Man, and like, Marvel did not go dark. The comics
I mean, I like taking it not necessarily towards the theology as much as the idea of oftentimes what do theological literature cause for every human being to kind of go through, that you're going to go through moments in which you feel like you're ahead of society, that you need to return society back to where you're supposed to go, or that you feel like you've lost, so you need to make the quote unquote like redemption story, the Tawbah story. I think it's more important to see maybe that's why they hold such a value in our culture, not because they speak to any one theology, though of course as a Muslim I look at it, I'm like, okay, no, it's going to point towards Tawheed and like your reliance on God, of course, right? But I think on the other front though, like the similarities of why do other theologies seem to put this story so highly up? Well, actually, because it speaks to a very big truth that happens in each and every one of our personal lives as you grow up, as you figure out who you are in society, as you get in trouble with society and people don't understand you. I think that, to me, is the more important meta narrative that these represent. I don't necessarily like making the whole like, oh, because it was written in with these Christian theologians in mind and Christian figures in mind, that's exactly what it represents. I think they actually hit on something even deeper than the theology they adopted it from.
I mean, subconsciously, some of those things could be adopted. Like, for example, openly, the writers of like the Chronicles of Narnia, they claim Oswald is like Jesus, right? Like, no, what's that? Aslan, the lion.
Aslan, yeah. So, and of course, and I think that's done much more intentionally. But even through that, again, what I'm trying to go is go a little bit deeper than the story and think about even the story that's found within these traditions is found across many different cultures as well, because that speaks to something innately human. And to me, this will come down, this is part of the human fitrah. Like these are stories you're going to tell over and over and over again. And I would argue that's why they're found in the Quran to begin with.
So again, Muslims might be watching it, or if non-Muslims, fitrah basically, I explained to someone recently, was like literally you buy a laptop and those are the apps that are already on there. Like that's the you were born with.
I would say it's deeper than that. It would be the operating system or the way that each of the parts communicate with each other. How they were designed to. So it would be literally the firmware that hooks all of the hardware and is the unifying software between them. That would be closer to fitrah, because apps you can uninstall. You can't uninstall a fitrah.
Yeah, that's true. It's like we're in a halakha again.
Yeah. Oh,
nice to bring up the points. That's what it is.
Yeah. But Kaiser, what do you think of this example? I want to just end off with this. I know you have somewhere to go to.
Yeah.
Like a phone. Everything has a purpose, right? And we as humankind, like that, by finding that purpose, we do. Like, for example, I can't take a phone, put it into something, and no matter, like, I can't take plastic, steel, nickel, lithium for the battery, put all the things in here. No matter how much I shake it up, what are the chances, 1 in a gazillion trillion, that I get a functioning cell from water?
Yeah.
And like.
I mean, you're bringing up what's known as the teleological argument for human creation or creation in general, and I think it's a pretty powerful thing. But the idea of like it points towards a design, points towards a purpose. So I think it's definitely a worthwhile example to make.
Interesting. Anyway, alrighty. In the future,
I gotta run. This has been great, Fazil. Let's catch up a little bit more, inshallah. How airlines predict protagonists.
Kaiser wants to talk about. Like, we're gonna get to it, inshallah.
We all enjoyed WandaVision. I guess we can get down to the point.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, guys, if you have to get going,
I gotta run. Fazil, good having you. Inshallah, we'll have you again sometime in the future.
Inshallah, definitely. That was good seeing you, man.
Hey, guys, you watched WandaVision with the missus too, right?
Yes, I did. We enjoyed it.
Okay.
I even watched it with my 4-year-old, and she liked it. Other than when Agnes came in, it got a little bit scary. But other than that, I watched it even with my 4-year-old. It was very safe on that front.
It was Agatha all along, man. It was Agatha all along.
I hate that song so much.
That song is great though. It's catchy. It randomly came in my head.
Yeah.
It was like,
go ahead, guys, drop off. We'll
Okay.
finish up in about
All right.
a minute.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
For joining me. So let's finish up, inshallah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, first of all, thanks for short notice.
No problem, man. Anytime.
Look forward to having you on the team and creating content. You are way more. You wear your nerd on your sleeve.
Yes, I do.
I'll wear
Gotta be proud.
My
Gotta be
high
proud to
school.
represent what you're doing.
Class of 708.
Oh, you guys thought this was just a Marvel thing? No. It's
No,
okay.
no.
I'm prepared.
This guy.
I'm prepared. I'm prepared. I went in deep.
He was born ready.
I'm walking advertising for the next 5 days. I'm an advertiser.
Oh yes.
So
it's your first time here. What do you think, man?
It's good. I really love the cap shield up there, but everything else,
Oh yeah.
the calligraphy and everything, it's it's great.
I know it's a small space, but we actually get bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So support, guys. Whether you guys do it or not, we still gonna create this content.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
like Fazil is just enthusiastic about this. He doesn't do this as a full-time job.
No, I do not.
Neither do I, bro. Like we have careers and family.
It's like they can tell me I could be a professional hype man. I'm saying if there's a professional hype job, then I'll be so glad to do it with the movies that come out and stuff like that. It's just very fun to do, very fun to advertise and let people get know, because like I said, with Zack Snyder's Justice League, this has been going on like Yaser said, 4 years. Is 4 years in the making, and literally there are people, in the Twitterverse, all that stuff like that. They're like, hey, does this film feel like a Zack Snyder film to you? And they're like, no. So then they got to the bottom of it, and then lo and behold, in 5 days we're getting a 4-hour epic that is compared to Lord of the Rings.
So I mean, again, we've kind of been all over the place with this. I did want to talk about WandaVision just a minute or two. I watched it with my wife too. So I mean, you watched it as a single person.
Yes.
How's being a bachelor now, mid-20s?
It's fine, man. You gotta do the grind. You still got that time to yourself.
So I mean, it's different consuming content now as a married person. I'm in my early 30s.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. I mean, it's my wife liked it, and I got my parents to watch a little bit of it too.
Oh wow.
I mean, my wife. I mean, for me, I understood the references of Malcolm in the Middle.
And, oh my god, that was so great! I loved it. That was my favorite one, because I'm like, this is some Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah, right. If you guys don't know what Malcolm in the Middle is,
you missed out. You gotta be I mean, I went back and watched episode 1 of that just to. Man, it's raunchy.
You know what's funny about that? I tell people if you ever watch Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah,
if you ever watch Breaking Bad and you go watch Malcolm in the Middle,
I hate
Malcolm in the Middle, you're like, how is this man Heisenberg?
So, the way I see it, I hate how anime and series always have nudity and vulgarity in episode 1.
Yeah.
But then they don't for the rest of the series. Even Naruto.
What's the point? Yeah.
If you guys, there was a lot of probably anime and geek nerd fans out there, right? Even in Naruto with the sexy jutsu, and if you got first of all, I was shocked Fazil is such a big nerd and geek.
I don't watch anime.
Literally, how could literally?
Watch anime. I just never got into it.
I was gonna let you watch this. This is the last Naruto movie.
I'm not into Naruto. Everyone that knows me, they just.
What about Star Wars?
Oh, I love Star Wars. Oh yes.
So speaking of which, do you know who sent this to me? I'm not supposed to say because we kind of respect the privacy of the people who call the 800-662.
Oh, nice.
Islam hotline.
Interesting.
But as you guys know, we offer free Islamic literature. But somebody collects Islamic literature from the Fatimids and the Umayyads and the end of the Ottomans. Nice. And kind of goes to so in the future, we're going to bring on Asadullah Ali. The reason he's not on this episode is Mabruk to him. He just had a daughter, so Mabruk to Abu Isabel, I believe. So amazing. Beautiful name of his respecting his Andalusian Spanish background as well. So he was supposed to join today, and Garrett Bryant as well too. If you guys are watching. Anyhow, support the channel. I did want to mention, I did not watch. I watched the final episode alone just because my wife has not got the chance. I didn't know watching WandaVision how many episodes it was gonna be. I thought it was like 5 or 6 or 7. So it was how many? Is it 9? Yeah. So every episode I thought it was the end, and I was like, oh, cliffhanger, cliffhanger. But
yeah, 9 was that definitive one. Yeah.
So I did like the ending. I liked that last episode. My favorite parts were literally like toward the end of WandaVision. If you're watching it, it does get superhero-y. Like it does, like Vision fighting. I'm not gonna say who. Like I liked that. Like I was like, dude. And then I liked the. Like now, as I'm kind of becoming an aspiring da'i, working, studying with Dr. Sabeel, I liked how Vision and the other person,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
After brawling it out, they had thought problems.
That's interesting.
That's a fallacy. Like basically thought. I don't know. Like what is that? That's debating. Like okay, so there's 3 types of people in the world, right? Yeah. The low mind or low IQ talk about people. Mm-hmm. Talk about like gossip and riba and stuff. Yeah. The average mind or the medium IQ talk about events, right? Like sports or wars or things like that. But the high mind talk about ideas, right? Talk about philosophy, right? So literally, like the high IQ people, like if you're talking about what's
the need for violence? Well, let's talk this out first.
Let's talk
about what is your issue, and let me refute. Yeah, it's stuff like that. And which they portrayed it really well because that, that's like the character in a sense. You know what I'm saying? That's the character.
That's what I love about Vision. Actually, that's what like I don't know, Scarlet Witch and Vision. Like again, Marvel is taking nobody characters and making them famous.
There's
Vision now is like my favorite.
Yeah, in the finale, there was a Scarlet Witch moment that I really love. Like
I liked her final design too.
Yes, exactly. Final design.
Her final costume design was revealed at the end.
Oh, I mean, this is kind of I guess it's if you're watching.
I was watching this with my little one, and when she was in Halloween, he's like, oh, stuff. So like my
it's not wrong though.
But for the most part, Disney is somewhat clean. Yeah. I mean, I'm interested now with the X-Men joined in, how Deadpool's gonna be now.
Deadpool's gonna remain rated R because Ryan Reynolds is actively in a part of that, and he wants to make it like it's not gonna be PG-13 because I don't know if you knew, but they did try to.
Right, let's give it time because we gotta pray.
Inshallah,
which is the 4th prayer today, and time is a witness. We're all losers.
All right,
except those. Yeah, 4. Normally I try to bring on 4 people, but again, if you a little bit about yourself as before we finish off, might as well end at 33 at an odd minute. Yeah, explain yourself. If you guys, you weren't in our first launch video, so
I've known Yaser ever since I was a young youth. We could
teens,
say
like
young teens, late teens. Yeah. So me and Yaser, we met through YM, and we come out here from joint neighborhood events and everything. So basically, I'm just a lonesome in the Niles. Oh, let me hold this up. Shout out to YM out here.
Keeping it real.
The old logo. That's how you know we're OGs.
Chi-town. Yeah. This is still the logo, right?
They changed it up. Following social media and stuff. But I like to do social media stuff for fun. I have like my own thing. It's called like a Fazil's log. It's just me explaining to my friends and followers about just like what's going on in like the film world, TV world, whatever. Do reviews and stuff like that. But it's just something that I managed to do for fun, and then talk to Yaser.
So and then, I too, subhanAllah, I think I've known Fazil for a bit. But if you guys again, I don't even know what obscure audience. We don't really care. We just do this because we like it.
Yes.
The counts and the views, we don't like. We're not after those. We just want to like. We enjoy doing this.
It's more of like we just want to entertain.
Like I literally, the moment Godzilla versus Kong comes up, I'm gonna call up Fazil.
Yeah, we're gonna have a link in this discussion.
We might do this. We might do it in car rides. We might do it where like So like this is like I would rather instead of watching like. My concept of social media, we were discussing this in our car ride, is like, dude, I went off like, social media for a decade.
Yeah.
And I mean, how do you
remember? Because I applaud you for that. Yeah. Because like, dude, honestly, man, like, imagine if you do it this, like, because you get so much done. Because my closest experience is like when I did Ethos 1 year, like I just completely shut my phone off.
Oh yeah.
It's like one of the best experiences that you can do because like when you're away from like your phone, not knowing, you're in tune like yourself. I mean, you know yourself.
I think sometimes you just gotta take that leap of faith. Yeah. I remember being in halaqas and things, reminders and talks where I've gone outside and seen brothers call up their girlfriend and like leave. or delete all their music off their iPod. Like literally, like take that leap of faith. Like I literally even remember somebody, you know, like hearing something and like, you know, he was having some kind of online addiction, whether it's pornography or whatever, and he literally threw out his mouse out his window. Oh, where'd it go?
Oh, where'd it go?
Close this.
You might have.
No, but like just to say that just take those physical steps. Yeah. And you know, but I forgot where I was going with this. But yeah, dude, I came back. I used to take photos before they were cool. Before Instagram.
I have like professional photos by Yaser.
Oh, dude, like, you know,
just on the side. Like,
yeah, no. But like, it's just the world is a different place now. Like I come back and I'm like, for example, you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, even because I edit videos. But I want to give a shout out to Fazil's. You're only exclusively on Facebook, right?
I have Facebook, I have Instagram, Snapchat.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much those three.
Like I've always for years been seeing your like statuses about like, you guys are gonna believe this.
You know, I'm just like I said, I'm a hype man. Yeah, exactly. Hype man. You know, I'm a hype.
You know HMK? HMK. Oh, are you a gamer? You're not.
I am a gamer. I'm like I'm a semi like not like I'm a gamer, but I don't really watch like the gaming like you know.
Yeah, no. So like
I know Dr. Disrespect.
Huh?
You know Dr. Disrespect?
I do not know who that is.
Oh, Dr. Disrespect. Oh, Dr. Disrespect is a good one. He's a gamer.
We come from different like circles. It's gonna be an interesting.
Dr. Disrespect is he's a funny gamer. Like, he does mostly he does like I don't know if the Rogue Company is like a shooter game, first person shooter. Like he does first person shooters on Twitch, and he's basically like a 40-year-old tall man. And he's gaming.
Really?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I don't really know PewDiePie. I think he's lame.
I never paid attention.
But like, I'm gonna be doing with my sons. Like, oh, by the way, I'm working on ethos. This is like a damaged copy. I'm writing it in like I first do it in pencil, and then I'm tracing it over. Watercolor painting. I'm trying to do the translation too. This one I was trying to do color coded tajweed on this. But Mario Kart, you a Nintendo guy?
Yeah, man. I had to grow up. You know, Nintendo's Nintendo. Like, oh, is this a Switch? You got the Switch too?
Yeah. So nice. I'm gonna, you know, if I do crib doing that, inshallah. Yeah, man, keep us in your prayers. You know, say mashallah, guys. All of this, how perfect is God's will? What God wills.
Exactly. And nothing can beat that.
Yeah, inshallah. I want to actually now. The reason I'm just rambling now is I want to stop at 40.
40.
Yeah.
Oh,
40.
Okay. Let's do that. 3 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do.
I have will do.
I do too. So
I have
perfect. We can just
This
actually is calligraphy that my son then decided to just draw on, and so it's unsellable. It says Jannah is under your mother's feet. Okay.
Which is a true statement, my friends.
I was gonna actually modify this to make it look like feet, but that's kind of disrespectful, right?
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of hard too. You know, like it's like okay, well, what foot you gonna take?
I have a bunch of designs that I don't want to put up because it's just gonna get.
Also, I am curious about this one. Is this just a regular Scott Trooper?
It's a Scott Trooper. I mean, okay. Oh, our next episode we're gonna be about Star Wars. We need a juggernaut. We need like a Chewbacca, like. Hey, let's compare.
Chewbacca. Go ahead.
My mouth is really dry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I gotta explain the cricket.
You know he does that stuff. I worked on this ever since I was like in high school. So,
I work on it.
You know.
No. Like, you know.
He's like rolling the R's and stuff. Just like
so actually, knowing that sound, you know how you make a raptor sound? Like, by the way, like, let's do some ASMR. No, I'm not kidding. I'm just kidding. On one of my blogs, I actually tried to like be in character and do ASMR, and I stayed in character and I did a whole 20-minute video.
Wait, what is ASMR?
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
So it's like when you whisper, how are you doing? I hope you're feeling calm.
Oh, like that? Oh my goodness. Okay.
But you know, I'm gonna end with the cricket. I gotta tune my cricket. So it's like making the sound and like, you know, mixing the like, yeah.
I can do
beatboxing, guys.
I can do beatboxing.
Hey, Nameless, if you're watching this,
do some beatboxing.
Come on, bro. Why are you backing down? You guys are 3-4 guys. I'm one person. Come at me, bro. Like they challenged me to a beatboxing competition.
Do it, man.
Like, can you beatbox?
Yeah, do a little bit of.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to do that. Oh yeah.
You know?
Okay, guys. Peace be upon you.
Assalamu alaikum. That's right at 40. All right.